This time, the City of Plattsburgh is holding a public hearing to hear public comment on proposed local law P-5 and local law adding section 144-19 short-term rental registry to chapter 114 building code administration enforcement to the City of Plattsburgh. I'll now take a motion to open the public hearing. Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Bach, all in favor, open this public hearing.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this public hearing is now open. Any persons intending to make comments at this public hearing, please, do they need to sign in? No? No?
Well, I have to state your name.
Sure. Anybody in the public who wishes to make a comment at this public hearing, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you'll have 5 minutes according to organizational rules of order. Thank you.
Sure. Max Lasky, Drive, Plattsburgh. Just here to make a few comments about the recent article in the paper from last weekend where the city introduced short-term rental vacant building registry laws. And intentions are good here, but I just see political bias placed throughout this article that lends itself to one side of an argument. I don't see any opposition to an agenda. I see just an agenda moving forward without any real critical thought, critical opposition, and critical analysis I think is required on this issue. It says that a ban cannot be legally enforced regarding Airbnbs, but short-term rental registry and vacant building registry is the idea coming forward. My first question to that would be, who would enforce that? And who would come forward to register their property? And who would do the inspections, since the city can't come into our homes? Another comment is that this is a good balanced approach, an approach that we see, we've seen work together in other municipalities. The mayor continued, if the law is passed, there'll be a small fee for obtaining a permit as well. Who pays that fee? I would imagine the person paying rent, so the rental costs will go up in the city. Something else here. My point is to address some fair and balanced discussion on this issue. I don't think this article does a very good job of it. It's also quoted by the mayor. It's a broad generalization about one-sided research that seems to confirm the bias of the mayor. It doesn't speak much to the opposition. He said that the feedback they have heard from short-term rental hosts is that they would not mind the new regulations. How many of these people are there? Again, this seems like a broad generalization. This proposed law is modeled from many other municipal or state legislations around New York State. Again, how many? What are their names? Who are they? I know how to win an argument, especially when I'm seeking to direct in one direction. I'll find all the research that I can to confirm my bias, and that will be the only research that I show the public. That seems to be what's taking place here. Rosenberg said these changes, along with expanding the city's rental registry, will hopefully create additional housing and additional housing opportunities in the city. How, Mr. Mayor? I just don't see how. I know one thing on my street, and we just added one Airbnb there, and these are the facts. These aren't generalizations. These aren't laced with political agenda. Fact is, I have one less residential home on my street because of an Airbnb, which has reduced the housing supply in the city of Plattsburgh. All right, it's disrupted the quality of life on my street, and if you multiply that times the many Airbnbs that will come down the road in the future, the facts speak for themselves. Airbnbs reduce residential life and residential housing in Plattsburgh. That's the only fact in all this argument. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else who'd like to make comments about this public hearing, regarding local law P-5?
It's not public, just general yet.
Anybody who would like to comment on this local law P-5 regarding short-term rental? Okay, seeing no more, I will take a motion to close this public hearing. Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Kelly. All in favor of close the public hearing for local law P-5?
Aye.
Any opposed? The City of Plattsburgh is now holding a public hearing to hear public comment on proposed local law P-6, a local law adding section 144-20 vacant building registry to chapter 144 Building Code Administration Enforcement to the City of Plattsburgh. Take a motion to open this public hearing. Councilor Bob, second by Councilor Gibbs, all in favor?
Aye.
This public hearing is now open for public comment. Any persons intending to make public comment at this public hearing regarding local law P-6, please come, state your name and for the record, and you'll be given 5 minutes to address council. Seeing none, I will now close this public hearing for local law P-6 with a motion by Councilor Gibbs, second. Councilor Bob, all in favor to close this public hearing for local law P-6?
Aye.
Any opposed? The City of Plattsburgh is holding another public hearing to hear public comment on proposed local law P-7, a local law to add section 95-5 councilor compensation to chapter 95 officers and employees, article 1 finances to the city code of the City of Plattsburgh. I'll now entertain a motion to open the public hearing for hearing public comment for local law P-7. Motion by Councilor Bob, second. Councilor Kelly, all in favor?
Aye.
This public hearing is now open, and we like to hear any persons who intend to make comment at this public hearing. Please come to the podium, state your complete name and address. You'll be given 5 minutes to address council.
Hi there, my name is Denise Snow. I live at 34 South First Street. So I'm here kind of like as a homeowner, 37 years today, and also a fiscal conservative, because I'm really concerned that the taxes in our city are making it very difficult to locate, live, or retire here. While the city boasts that we've been able to keep the tax rate under the state cap, assessments have risen 200 million in the last 2 years. That's 20%. So most of us in the city have had an assessment increase. So while the tax rate looks like it's going down, most of us are paying more. The local law P-7, I understand, is going to be withdrawn tonight after the comments at the Finance Committee the other day. But what that law is increasing to $15,000 a year. But unfortunately, the city code right now doesn't allow those wage increases to go into effect for any city councilors, and that just doesn't seem fair to anyone. So at the meeting the other night, Mike made a really good point that the reason that we're trying to do this is to have a wider base of candidates to support democracy. Your exact quote the other night, Mike, that's a really good point. So I took a little deep dive and I said, let's look at this issue a little bit more. So what I've heard through the grapevine is people are working a lot, like 15 to 30 hours a week. And I don't think that was ever the intention of the councilor's role. Looking historically, they used to be paid by the meeting, like way back in the way back days. So thinking about Mike's comment, if we want to have a broader base of candidates, what do we need to do in the city? Because working 30 hours a week on top of a standard job is just not sustainable for anyone. I was really happy to read in yesterday's Press Republican that you're looking at the city manager position, because I think that would really help reduce those numbers of hours for the councilors, because then you're going to have continuity of both history and knowledge to assist those department heads, where right now, perhaps the councilors are helping to fulfill that role. And thank you for bringing that up. I think it's great. So looking at what's going on in the city of Plattsburgh, I spent a little time, I would either read the transcripts or watch the YouTube videos of these meetings and the other meetings in town. And since November 9th to December 15th, the meetings were on average 40 minutes. Some of them were 67 minutes, some of them were 5 minutes, some of them were 22 minutes. They're all over the place. So for the sake of argument, of what I'm going to talk about and propose in a minute, let's just say if you go to a meeting 1 hour a week, each counselor goes to one meeting 1 hour a week, and they spend 9 other hours researching those topics. Okay, let's just, for the sake of argument, let's use a 40-hour standard that they could work. Not saying that they do work, but they could work. I also looked at comparative salaries. So I looked at Burlington, who has $44,000 salary, our population, they get paid $7,000. I looked at Binghamton, $55,000, so more than double of us, they get paid $10,000. I looked at Saratoga, 29,000 people in their population, with an influx of millions and millions of visitors, they get paid $14,500. Just, my background, I'm a CPA and an auditor, so I always look at the facts, right? And what's comparable and what can we look at as facts? Similar to what you just talked about, Mr. Tulowski. So I'd like to propose something to you. If we have to bring this to referendum to change the code in some way, which is what I think was discussed at the finance meeting the other day, Mrs. Gibbs, and I'm going to kind of blow things up for a minute. I think what we should do is retroactively apply a CPI adjustment, which is 2.68%, retroactively to when it was last the last raise was given, which is 2016, which would make for a $12,356 salary today. If we use that standard that we hope to get to 10 hours a week, that would make a $25 an hour salary for the counselor position. Whether that's the right amount or the wrong amount, I don't know, but at least it could be an amount that people that are candidates in the community could say, hey, I only make $20 an hour. I would like to be a counselor and do my civic responsibility for a wage, not this pie in the sky salary that could be for 10 hours a week or 30 hours a week. I'd also like to propose that if the counselor's duties in a time of crisis or need that we could foresee in our future, allow for additional compensation. So make this code flexible, because right now, the way it's written, as Mike said in the meeting the other night, whoever wrote this was a genius. Nobody could ever get a raise. So I think we've got to look at a couple solutions here, and that's why I wanted to come and talk, is two things. Try to find the right fit and right number of hours, and if there is a large need in our community for more hours, write something into the code that allows for that flexibility. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is, if we keep the standard quo and you don't want to listen to comments or, I think what the other thing does is if we do that CPI, not only for the council, but for the mayor, because the way it's written in the code right now, no one can ever get a wage increase since 2016, and that's just a little crazy. So write it in that at least the council would get the cost of living adjustment. That just makes sense to me, to change the code. As long as you're changing it, make it forward thinking instead of static. And the other thing is, maybe you guys should think about doing a time study to look at the time that the counselors are having to spend and look at efficiencies to see if there's a way that there could be a lot less time spent, because if they're spending 30 hours a week, no one will want to be a counselor. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Anybody else who'd like to address the council on local law P-7? Seeing none, I'll take a motion to close public hearing for local law P-7. Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody? Roll call closed. At this time, I'd like to call the December 21st, 2023 meeting of the regular meeting of the Common Council to order. It is now 5:14 p.m. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Carly, you please conduct the roll.
Mayor Rosenberg.
Here.
Councilor Bond. Here. Councilor Kelly.
Here.
Councilor Gibbs. Here. Councilor Talon. Here. Councilor Bob. Here. Councilor Moore.
Here. All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the December 7th, 2023 regular meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Bob. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, we do ask that you please state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address the council.
I'm coming up again. Okay, I wasn't here. I wasn't here when the budget open forum was, and I'm sorry that I'm making this comment kind of late. But I spent a little time on the budget, and one of the things that concerns me is parking. So I work downtown. We have a couple offices. My kids own the Copycat. My other family members own Toby's that's named after my dad. We're downtown. We live and breathe downtown. So I want to talk about parking just a little bit. I had my tickets. Everybody else has. I have my permit, but sometimes I park on the street. I'm lazy. I can't even walk. But anyway, what I want to talk about is I noticed that there's going to be 4 full-time positions for $182,000 in the budget. That's not including benefits. And I also noticed in the budget that the intended amount of fees collected is going to be $95,000. That leaves a really big gap. And I'd just like to ask the council why. Because the intention when the parking committee did their job was to be budget neutral, and that's not the way it looks like it's going, and I'm really concerned about that, because I don't think we, as people of the city of Plattsburgh, intended that we would lose money on parking. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else would like to address the council on any topic? Seeing none, we'll now go on. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Didn't see it.
My name is Carol Tucker. I live at 17 Couch. I wasn't going to bring this up at this time because it's really not the right time of year. But I have not been keeping up with the common council minutes and agendas, and that's my fault. But I know that, I think a month ago, you had announced when the renovations for the downtown not redevelopment, but when everything was finished with the paving, that there was a $350,000 surplus, or, that it came in under the $350,000 that came up. And I've been for, I would say 5, maybe even 6 years now, talking to my counselor, Jeff Moore, and other council people about the park and the monument at the Point View Terrace or the Cumberland Avenue, the Champlain Monument Park, and how the shoreline has now, we want to say that at some point it's going to be invaded into the historic markers that are replications of the teepees that were for the Indians. It is a historic site, it's supposed to be maintained, and nobody has, or I don't know if it's been brought to your attention to try to plan it out for the spring, to find out what the cost would be to not just put work back, but where we have actually put retaining stones or something to prevent the water from continuing to erode on that shoreline. Many people that come from Montreal and outside visitors go to that point. In fact, when you go to search where there is a park on the waterfront, that's the first one that comes up. So it's not only important to city residents and the neighborhood and historic, our history, but it's important to the neighbors that come from outside of our area. And I would love to see that we do a feasibility study or some kind of research on how much it would cost to not just put work back, but to prevent that shoreline from eroding. And maybe we can put some of the money that we have saved on other projects towards that. And I'd like to see that happen in the spring, because we keep, every year that we let that keep eroding, we're going to lose that shoreline completely. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Anybody else would like to address the council on any topic? Okay, seeing none, we will now move on to committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a counselor, and I'll now call upon that chairperson of each committee, starting with City Operations Counselor Allen.
All right, well, we have one item on the agenda tonight regarding fishing tournaments. So that is always a very positive thing for Plattsburgh, so we're looking forward to approving that tonight.
Thank you. Finance Community Development, items 7.240 through 7.250 are on tonight's agenda for consideration. Next meeting is January, according to that. Fourth, that's the organizational meeting, so it's the 11th. Okay. City Infrastructure Council calendar.
No updates, Lee.
Public Safety Council, Bob.
We've got 2 items on the agenda tonight, both travel requests, one for police department, one fire department, pretty standard stuff, so that's it.
Plattsburgh Public Library Liaison Council.
We didn't have a meeting this month, so I have nothing to report.
MLD Board President Councilor Gibbs.
No updates.
Climate Smart Task Force Liaisons Gibbs and or Town.
So, at our last meeting, which was 15th, I think, we were just kind of talking about like, what we wanted to do going forward and trying to find out who's interested in staying on the task force and who's going to be recommending other people to be appointed to the task force. So we're kind of, gonna see what happens.
Great.
And I don't know if Rochelle passed this on to you, but I resigned my position with the task force.
Okay, I did not know that, thank you.
And we'll miss you.
Let's see, Corporation Council, any staff and reports? Nothing. There are no correspondence recommendations to special committee. I will now report on the payrolls. I'll now report on the payrolls of the various city departments of the city of Plattsburgh approved by the Common Council for the week ending December 13th, 2023, in the amount of $614,142.59. I'll also report on the bills audited by the Common Council for the weeks ending December 15th, 2023, in the amount of $3,518,212.93, and December 22nd, 2023, in the amount of $489,113.43. Before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that the majority of these resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and department heads, and now we're taking action on these items in large part due to the recommendation of those committees. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.237, adoption of local law P-5 of 2023, a local law adding section 144-19 short-term rental registry to chapter 144 building code administration and enforcement to the city code of the city of Plattsburgh.
Motion, Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Bob. Discussion?
Yes, I have a number of questions, and I wondered if Joe could come to the microphone to answer them. So I wondered in section C, where it discusses the short-term rental registration information in local law. How will your office know when a short-term rental is in operation? Is your office relying on the operators to self-report? Is that going to be the mechanism for determining if a short-term rental is in operation?
That and word of mouth, advertising, all of that combined.
So if they don't self-report, how will you know it's in operation?
Well, that's a good question. There may be some that completely fly under the radar.
Okay.
Essentially, it's up to them. They'd be in violation for doing it. And, there'd be a penalty for that.
So that brings me to another question. So in the law, section D, it talks about inspections, occupancy, and limitations. It says, upon the receipt of a short-term rental registration form and annually thereafter, the office shall complete the inspection of the property. If a property owner fails to allow an inspection, the office of the building inspector may deny the application for the short-term rental registry certificate. Can you compel an owner of a piece of property to allow you in for inspection? Can you force the owner to allow you in for inspection?
For this purpose, I would say yes.
And what's your enforcement mechanism if there is a denial? Is it fees or fines, excuse me?
I would work with Dean to make sure we're following all legal procedures properly.
Well, what is the legal procedure? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, the question was what again exactly?
Okay, so according to section D,
So if we get information that they're doing this and we try and gain access.
right, because section D is talking about the inspection of the property, And if the owner of this property refuses entry of your office to inspect, what is the mechanism in place? You're saying that, we would expect them to follow the laws and the ordinance, but what if they do not? What is the enforcement mechanism that the city has to compel this to happen?
I would guess the enforcement mechanism would be to take it to court by way of a civil appearance date.
Okay, and if they are an LLC, can we compel them? Because a lot of these rental properties in the city are under LLCs, and I wonder, is it really something that can be enforced if they hide behind LLCs?
I mean, that's a good question. As soon as that came up, I would work right with Dean about the best way to approach this.
And mind you, we take LLCs to court all the time for enforcement actions.
So if we get to the point where we're fining them and they refuse to pay, what is the next step?
So under section G, just to hop in here, we have a whole protocol for the violation process, which includes seeking fines, potential criminal violations if it's an individual, and conjunctive relief, which would be an injunction, court order requiring them to do or not do a certain item.
I have concerns about whether or not this can actually be fully enforced. That's my concern. It's not that I don't support the idea of a short-term rental registry, but I'm concerned that it doesn't really have the enforcement that we want it to. And if it becomes a law that's difficult to enforce, I don't know if I can support it. I guess that's what I'm saying. So that was the nature of the questions. That's why I was asking the questions.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Well, I guess my consideration here is that, it does seem like there are some potential pitfalls with enforcement, just like it seems like there are with essentially every single law we have in place, from speed to building inspector requirements, everything. But I look at this, and I mean, we do need some sort of legislation in place with regard to these rentals. And I personally would not support a complete ban. And even if we were to support a complete ban, we would have the same problems, right? They could fly under the radar. They could be operating without you knowing. They could be an LLC. We could run into a lot of those same problems, even if we were looking at a total ban. Isn't that true?
Sure.
Okay.
But I'm not asking about a ban.
No, I know. I'm just trying to
particular.
get clarification about those types of options that are on the table.
I just don't like to see us clogging up your office with work that might not ultimately be fully enforceable. I just don't see that as a good use of time when there are other things that can be done. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes,
Carried.
Item 7.238, adoption of local law P-6 of 2023, a local law adding section 144-20, vacating building registry, chapter 144, building code administration and enforcement for the city code of the city of Blackbird.
Motion.
Thank you. Motion by Councilor Bob, second. Councilor Talon, discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
well, I have big questions about this one. Because every,
Sorry, Council, we're
no,
call a question. No, thank you. Carried.
Item 7.239, authorizing the mayor to sign various 2024 fishing tournament agreements.
Motion by Councilor Talon, second by Councilor Bob, discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.240, amend the mayor's budget for 2024 data processing.
Motion. Councilor Talon, second by Councilor Kelly, discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.241, amend the mayor's budget for 2024 assessment fees.
Motion. Councilor Bob, second. Councilor Kelly, discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.242, amend the mayor's budget for 2024 debt service.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Kelly, discussion.
Can you explain this for everyone?
Debt service?
Yeah.
Based on the changes to the debt service amount has increased, because of the, interest rate. So interest rate adjustment, that's the change here, based on the original proposed budget versus the amended budget, which to be adopted would have these new interest rates.
So this is the full rate of 4.75.
I believe you're correct, yes. Any further discussion? The next item is similar, 7243. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.243, amend the mayor's budget for 2024 MLD debt service.
Motion, Counselor Bob, second, Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Sorry.
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.244, amend the mayor's budget for 2024 DPW street maintenance.
Motion, Counselor Kelly, second, Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.245, amend the mayor's budget for 2024 community development regular pay.
Motion, Counselor Bob, second, Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.246, adopting revised management salary effective January 1st, 2024.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second. Counselor Kelly, discussion.
Yes, I have some things I'd like to say. The mayor mentioned to council that he was working on a management compensation package, but I want to make a few things very clear to the public. I support the work that the managers do. It's important work. We value what they do. A manager's compensation package should have been created in collaboration with council, and it is not. It was provided to us in the supporting documents last week on Tuesday, and we were not involved in this. So we don't know anything other than what the management will be receiving. And I have a problem with the process. I support what the work that the managers do, but I cannot support a package that council was not involved in creating. And I'm very sad about this because we are put in a position as council to sit in front of the managers, ask to vote on something we were not involved in. And if we vote no, it creates a rift and it creates resentment. And these are things that are not our doing. And I want it to be very clear to the public and to the managers that the process is incredibly flawed and it's wrong.
Any further discussion?
Well, I just want to say I agree with Counselor. We did not get any involvement in this, and I don't think that's the way to do business. It's pretty complicated, and I would have liked to have had time to review this.
7246 is adoption of the revised management salary. Just to be clear, that's what we're talking about right now.
Yep.
Okay. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
No.
I'll vote in the affirmative, thank you. Carried.
Item 7.247, adopting manager compensation package 602 of the employee handbook.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Kelly. Apologize. Discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bach?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
No,
I'll vote in the affirmative, thank you. Carried.
Item 7.248, adopting 2024 City of Plattsburgh budget as amended.
Motion, Counselor Bob, second, Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
No.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
no,
In the affirmative, thank you. Carried.
Item 7.249, adopting 2023 final revised budget.
Motion, Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Kelly, discussion.
Yes,
Yeah.
I asked City Chamberlain last week what our payroll looks like, payroll benefits. We provided council with an update that clearly indicates 70% of general fund going towards salary and benefits. We have until the 14th to adopt the budget. I would like to recommend a revised budget that cuts new hires from the budget and present a revised budget based on those numbers for both at our first council meeting of the year. We also voted recently for a bond anticipation note for $19 million worth of new debt. And that is going to increase debt service eventually. So we have burgeoning debt and we also have burgeoning obligations. And I think that this budget as presented should be revised to remove new hires and brought before council at the beginning of next year.
To be clear, this is the ending adjustments to this year's budget. The previous item was the one that was approved for next year. Okay. Any further discussion on the revision of the 2023 budget? Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.250, authorize extension to marina management agreement.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Talon, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.251, authorize mayor to attend NICOM 2024 comprehensive legislative meeting.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.252, authorize travel request police department.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
which one are we voting on here?
This is the travel request for, police, correct? I'm sorry, are you missing it?
Yeah, this is,
It's 2 pages, it's 1 page back. That one, 7250,
oh, okay, all right, yes,
7252,
Yes.
apologize. Yes, yes, Council Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.253, authorize travel request fire department.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.254, mayoral appointments, Plattsburgh Public Library Board of Trustees.
Motion by Counselor Talon. Second by Counselor Kelly. Any discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Abstain.
Abstain.
yes,
Counselor Moore?
Carried.
Item 7.255, mayoral appointment Board of Assessment review.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second. Counselor Talon, discussion.
No,
No, problem.
Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call.
Counselor Bond?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yeah.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Counselor Kelly, you have to abstain.
Oh, I abstain.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.256, mayor appointment, police chief.
Motion by Counselor Bob, second. Counselor Kelly, roll call.
Counselor Vaughn?
I'm gonna abstain.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Abstain.
Carried.
Mayor,
No
I'm
need,
sorry, I have to leave.
yep, no need for executive session. Is there any new business come before this council? Sorry, please go ahead, Counselor Talon, please.
Oh, I didn't know if you were going to.
No, go ahead, please go.
Final remarks.
I'll make some remarks, but go ahead, please.
Okay, I want to say this is going to be my last meeting with Counselor Kelly and Counselor Bob, and I have enjoyed working with both of them so much, and I've learned so much from both of them, and I'm going to miss seeing them.
Thank you so much.
Any other new business? This is the last meeting for a couple of our counselors. Counselor Bob, I cannot, say enough about how simply impressed I am upon, like, just the work that you do and the work that you've done for this board, but also the work that you do in the community and the work that you do professionally. It's moving, and I'm very impressed, with all that you do. Counselor Kelly, been here for a while. And so I would like to present to you a certificate of public recognition. Whereas a guy from Tennessee moved to the city of Plattsburgh on October 1995. And whereas Mike Kelly was elected city council for Ward 2 for his first term from January 1st, 2008 to December 31st, 2010. And whereas after a 3-year hiatus, served consecutive terms from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2023. Where Mike's southern accent has been a fixture of this common council for 12 years. And whereas he has served as mayor pro tem, budget officer, and if called upon, has always been available to represent the city at events. Whereas Mike remarked in the final meeting of his first term on December 28th, 2010, the greatest honor that I have had in 3 years of doing this job is being allowed to go and represent the city of Plattsburgh at the Martin Luther King Day celebration. And I tried my best to represent the city of Plattsburgh as an inclusive city that allows someone like myself to serve as public servant. And Counselor Kelly, you will be missed, so do not go far. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Christopher Rosenquist, Mayor of the City of Plattsburgh, on behalf of this entire Common Council, do hereby tender to Mike Kelly this certificate of public recognition, extending our deepest appreciation for his distinguished service on this Common Council. And we wish you all the success in all of your future endeavors. Congratulations, Michael.
Thank you.
If there's no further business to come before this council, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I think that-
Oh, yes, please, Counselor.
And that is, I'm done, I'm gonna miss it, I'm gonna miss serving these people, the city of Plattsburgh, but to help me go out in style, we're going over to the monopole right after this meeting. And I hope everybody in this room will join us for one beverage. Please come if you can. Thanks a lot.
Thank you all so much for everything. Happy holidays.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye. I was okay. Yeah, because I was hungry. I'm gonna try to catch something.
Are you? Good,